This is my post-game Penn State Iowa. It was a good win. I don't really know what to really say on this one. Penn State dominated the whole game. They came down. They won the game on that last second play. DeJuan Johnson was the person who caught it. It was a good catch, good execution. It just really showed that this team really has a lot of fight in them, and they're not going to give up. McSorley, not a very good game, but he was very, very efficient on that last drive, and he did not want to lose that game. I'm just going to get into how the game was and what I think this team looks like moving forward. I think that the game was okay. Iowa did every single thing that they had to be able to win the game. Iowa didn't play that well, but everything fell their way. Like, Iowa can't beat Penn State, really. If Iowa and Penn State played like 10 times, Iowa would probably win one, maybe two, and that was like the game or two that they might be able to sneak in. Because Iowa's not as talented as Penn State. They're not. And they're not as good. But Penn State misses 2 field goals. They're at the 1-yard line twice. And they can't get a touchdown on either of them. And both times it was second and goal. So they had 4 plays at the 1-yard line and they couldn't get in. Then they had the 2 missed field goals. And they were in their territory, I think, twice. And the other 2 times, the one time the drive just stalled. Another time they had the fumble, and then Iowa, I think, came down and did something with that one too. I'm not sure, but Penn State just left way too many points on the board. Like, they got 21 points. You go, 21 points. Well, if Penn State makes those kicks that they should make, there's 6 points, and then there's another 8 if they just did what they were supposed to do. And those couple plays, kind of fell the Iowa's way, I think. I think the one, they tried to overcomplicate everything. Or I think, those kind of fell their way a little bit. The field goals kind of fell their way. Penn State didn't execute in the red zone at all. And it left them 14 points on the board. It did. 14 points were on the board. And if you give them 14 points, this game's a blowout. 35-19. So, this game really wasn't all that close. And that's why I think moving forward, I was a little concerned about this game. I'm a little bit concerned about this team. The play calling wasn't terrible. It wasn't bad. But, I think sometimes we try to overcomplicate everything, and it doesn't always work very well. And the bottom line is we outgained Iowa by 300 yards. It was like 580 to like 280. That means we kill them. Really. Virtually we killed them in every single stat except the game, and we almost lost this game. And Iowa feels like, oh, we had it. Well, no, really, you guys were lucky. You guys were even within 10 points of winning, because you guys really stunk last night. You guys got 2 big touchdown plays by Wadley, and other than that, you had nothing. You had the pick, and then the next play you got the touchdown. That's all you did. You didn't do anything else. The only thing that went wrong for Iowa was they had that one fumble, and they had they missed the field goal. But I didn't even account for some of the stuff Penn State did. Because Penn State, they missed that. They fumbled, and then they also McSorley threw the pick. And I could account for that too. If Penn State played well, this game could have been like 38-12. I'm serious. If McSorley doesn't throw the pick, and maybe when we're driving we get that field goal on that drive. So if everything goes our way, I think we win this game 38-12. Really, the only thing that could have gone worse for Penn State was if they didn't get the safety, and if they didn't get that fumble recovery. So I don't really know Penn State's got to be more efficient in their area, but I'm not really concerned about how they move the ball because their drive stalled a couple times early on in the game. But other than that, it wasn't 21 points in a hard fought, old school Joe Paterno kind of game that it appeared to be. This team put up almost 600 yards on them. Okay, so they didn't have any problem moving the ball on this Iowa team. Barkley looked very good. Barkley should win the Heisman if he keeps this up. He's the leader in the Big Ten in receiving. He's a running back. He's a running back, and he's leading the Big Ten in receiving. So, I think that says something. And he's like sixth in the nation in rushing. And all those other running backs, they're on crappy teams and they just give the ball to them, or they're on good teams and they don't have any receivers and they just put up like 80 million points a game and they don't catch the ball at all. So Barkley, I think, is just cementing his case. He came up with some great plays yesterday, and if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have won this game. Not the way we played. McSorley didn't have a great game. He had some couple nice passes, but Iowa was trying not to prevent the big play. They were not. Iowa didn't want to prevent the. Iowa was trying to prevent the big play from happening, which is something that they're going to have to do. They were going to say, you know what, we'll give Barkley some of these wheel routes, but we're not going to let him go up the middle on us. But Barkley had such a great game that Iowa didn't have an answer for him, and some teams aren't going to, where he's just going to be able to power his way through, and he's going to get some jet sweeps, and he's going to get big yardage. And McSorley had a few passes. He had a few good passes, but anyway, I mean, the bottom line with Barkley is that he's just going to beat you. He can. And McSorley had to come up with those plays at the end, but sometimes he just didn't look good. He kind of had happy feet, and he just was like dancing around, and he didn't do very well. He kind of got hit from behind a couple times, and he just didn't look real smooth. Sometimes his passes were a little but at the end of the day, he did make some good plays, some good completions. Gesicki had a couple okay plays, but Gesicki really wasn't all that active. I haven't really seen any big passes from Penn State this year, and I think part of it's just because they don't quite have the teams are accounting for it more, and I don't know if they quite have the players in that rhythm yet. Juwan Johnson's playing well. Deshaun Hamilton, who's more of a possession receiver, is doing well. And, they're trying to match up on Gesicki. They're going to give Gesicki the 10, 15 yards, but they're not going to give him the big, big, big yardage. So, moving on, I think this team, Maryland, Rutgers, and Nebraska don't look all that great. Indiana, it's a home game. I feel okay about it. Michigan State and Northwestern, I mean, I have a few games that are a little concerning, but I have some that I think they should be able to win. I think this team is looking good. They're 4-0. They're where they need to be. They can have a loss, but they can't have two. And if they lost last night, it would have been very damaging because it would have been saying you have to win out pretty much, or lose to Ohio State and win the Big Ten, which is pretty much impossible. So if you lose to Ohio State, so Penn State got the win. They look pretty good. Really, on paper, this game should have been. Penn State really deserved to win this game by way more than they did. They just fundamentally couldn't finish, and that's the bottom line. If they did that, this game would have been much of a blowout. But it seems like Iowa just kind of sucks teams in to just to keep the game close. Like Penn State never put them away, and they let them hang around, and it could have came back and bit them badly. But that's the end of this. So they got the win, and they're moving on to 4-0. So peace out.